Hi, I'm Alyse Price-Tobler and I'm the writer of the SEMPI Social Communication Model, and welcome to SEMPI Conversations. So basically this is where I invite members of the public to come in and have a deeper level conversation with me, and we go through the letters together, and by doing this we're actually going to be showing you how you can do this yourself in your community so that you can learn the model and then pay it forward. So basically everyone from age 3 to adult can learn this model. It's a pay it forward altruistic model, so we're really hoping that you go back and have a look at the tutorials, and then you can view some of the SEMPI conversations and see how everybody, real people, can learn to use this. And instead of asking each other, are you okay, what we're proposing is that you actually ask the question, how's your senpai? So today my guest is Jenny. She's come in and she's going to be working through the senpai model for everybody out there watching, and she's going to be talking about her real life. So I really appreciate the fact that she's come in. So thank you very much for coming in, Jenny, and welcome.
Thank you for inviting me, Alyse.
No worries, no worries. Well, I know that we're on camera and it's a bit of a big ask to have somebody who's not a professional actor to come in here and do this with me, so I really appreciate you. And a little bit about Jenny. Jenny's a 49-year-old woman. She's actually transitioning careers at the moment. Her business recently closed, and she's now retraining, doing on-the-job training in childcare, and she's also a carer for her elderly disabled mum. So Jen's ticking a lot of boxes, and so we're going to go through today and look at the senpai model. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to flick us down and we're going to have a look at the model in the background. So let's look at the question. So how is your senpai? So basically, how's your senpai is a replacement, like I said, for a you okay? If you're asked that question and you don't know sort of how to answer it, or you're not okay, then this is the new question. Okay, so how's your senpai is a deeper, more real invitation asked by one person to another. This question is asked from a genuine place of interest for another person, so I'm genuinely interested in how Jen is at the moment. So Jen, let's have a little look. We'll just go down and revisit. So quickly, the senpai entry words are sleep and safety, emotions, meet your needs, physical body, and inclusion in community. So in this instance, I'm going to be the listener and you're going to be the sharer. So while we go through the senpai model, I just want to just reiterate, this is not a counselling model. Even though I'm a psychotherapist, this model's for everybody in the community. You don't have to have any training in counselling whatsoever. So we just go over to the next slide. So we look at sleep and safety. So at this point, I'd like to ask Jen, so on the senpai model, how's your senpai? And let's start with sleep and safety.
I'm sleeping quite well. I've always slept quite well. I'm safe. I have a bed to sleep in. I have a beautiful home. Yeah, so my sleep's fine. I sleep well of a night.
Okay. So if we look at the different questions, so Jen's saying, how was your sleep overall? She had a pretty good sleep. She was safe. She was stable. So when you started to go to sleep, Jen, were there any thoughts that alerted you at all?
No, not really. No.
Okay, so you're a pretty good sleeper.
I'm a good sleeper, yes.
Okay, cool. All right, so in this instance, sleep and safety may not necessarily be something that Jen's relating to. So we can move on at this point and we can go into E for emotion, which is the red colour. So Jen, if we look at the different questions here at the moment, so how are you feeling emotionally?
Emotionally at the moment I'm quite happy. When I first started transitioning, I suppose I was a bit angry, bit lost, but now I'm quite happy.
Yeah.
transitioning, and yeah.
Okay. So at this point, it's really hard to, it's really important to not ask Jen questions, because Jen is the one who's speaking now. So me being a psychotherapist is a little bit difficult because I like to ask questions, but I am not the counselor. I am the listener, okay, in this scenario. So let's move on. So Jen, if you want to read the next question, is there any emotion that's alerting you, or is there more than one?
Well, as I said, at first I felt angry that the business had closed down and the situation that it went through. I was lost, didn't know where my place was because I was at home all the time. But as I said, I'm quite happy now. I'm studying childcare, so I'm quite happy, loving that.
Okay.
So I'm looking forward to my new career.
Wonderful. Okay, so Jen's pretty good at the moment. So the next question is, can you feel where the emotion's coming from? So this is generally for a person who's experiencing a lot of emotion, which you don't seem to be at the moment. You're saying you're pretty happy, so this may not be very applicable to you either. So let's move to the next one. So meet your needs. So here we are, we talk about having enough to drink, a stable home life, supportive friends and family members. So do you want to have a little look at any of those questions and see if any of these are relevant to you at the moment?
As I said, I've got a very stable home life. I've got a roof over my head. I'm looking after my mother, who is not very well, and so I do have friends that I can talk to about what's happening and what's going on, and they give me advice and a bit of help as well.
Okay, all right, wonderful. Okay, so let's move along. So physical health is P, which is represented by the colour pink. So how is your physical body feeling, and are there any questions here, Jen, that you might like to talk about?
No, my physical body's fine. I'm putting on weight, of course, because I'm home. Like before, when I was working, I wasn't eating much, but now I'm home. I'm not, when I was working, I was getting a lot of exercise. Now I'm home, I'm not getting as much exercise as I was before. So yeah, I try and do some exercise like walking and go and I dance every Monday night. So I'm still sort of keeping up a little bit physically, but yeah.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, so you're not in any pain. It's we go through the different questions here. Are there any areas that stand out? Are you managing any pain? So no.
Only my ankles.
Okay.
I have a bit of an injury from a couple of years ago. So both my ankles at the moment are giving me a bit of pain, but I'm trying to work through that. And doing different things to ease that pain. Okay,
cool. And now I'm very tempted at this point to ask her what those things are, but I just want to reiterate again, I am a listener. I am not a counsellor in this scenario, so I'm a listener. This is giving Jen an opportunity to have a voice and feel heard and just basically get it out of her system. Okay, so let's look at the next one, which is the last one, which is I for inclusion. So are you feeling like you're part of a community? If not, are you feeling alone at any time? Is this upsetting you? So would you like to have a little read of the questions and see if there's anything here that you'd like to speak about?
Yes, I'm part of a community. I as I said, I'm looking after my elderly mum, and I take it to the club a couple of times a week so she can get out and about and meet up with friends, and I go out one night a week to be with my friends. Sometimes I do feel a bit lonely, but that's all right. I'll work through that.
Okay.
And then I can, as I said, I meet up with friends, and when I go for a walk, I meet up with different other people and have a bit of a social chat there.
Okay. So is there anything else here about inclusion in community that you'd like to talk about? So we've got another question here. Would you like to develop some new friendships? Are you feeling internally settled, or do you need some extra support at this time? So that generally means, do you want to look with me and go through like the local groups and see if there's anything you'd like to join? So basically that's what this means. So yeah, so it's an opportunity for people when they're sitting together during a SEMPI conversation, which is what we're having now, to actually go through that and see if there's any extra support that you need. What sort of support do you feel would help you? So if you were saying to me, I'm really, really unhappy, I'm really, really lonely, then we'd go through these. And then if this was just too much, or the listener was thinking, and once they've had a little conversation with you too, that this is actually way bigger than we realised when we started this conversation, then we'd look at maybe having some extra talking time, so meeting up again and having another SEMPI conversation, or looking at a referral service. So on the back of the little booklets here, and I'll just go back to the full screen again. So on the back of the booklets here, we've got all the different referral services for New South Wales in Australia, and we can change these. So depending on where in the world this is going to be, you can actually just jump on and add all your referral services. So basically here they are here, and sometimes between the listener and the sharer we can also come up with some other ones. So some local groups to get into contact with, or so on the back here we've basically got mental health groups and all sorts of alcohol and drug information services. So this on the back is for covers absolutely everything pretty much in crisis. So if we're going out of crisis, it's not generally crisis, and you're not in crisis at the moment, so we'd look at more generic things, so like local groups and things like that together. So this is one example of one person in everyday conversation, SEMPI conversation. So I'd just like to thank Jen for coming in today and on your Sunday and having a couple of hours in here. We've had a few good laughs, and also it's given me an opportunity to find out a lot more about what's actually happening for Jen at this point in her life from her perspective. So I didn't give advice, I didn't ask questions, I'm just here to listen to her. So thank you very much for watching this episode of SEMPI Conversations, and we'll look forward to seeing you at the next one. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye.